Oh, God, it's cold. So today we start this video from a standstill. Now, the reason we start this from a standstill, in this Audi S3, the first thing I would advise anyone to do when they get in it is turn it on, thumb the little lovely start button on the piano black situation we've got down here. And what I like to do, if you like driving and you think you're relatively good at it, I go into the driver assist and I turn off lane departure warning and Audi presense. Just because I've had it a couple of times where this car's been a little bit too over eager to tell me that I'm going to have an accident, and I don't like that because I can drive. Right, so off we go. Now that we've sorted all of that out. So as I say, today we are in an Audi S3. Now, the Audi S3 to me has always been sort of a Golf R rival really, or a GTI I suppose, but Golf R because it's four-wheel drive. And this is the new Audi S3. So there's a couple of things I love about this car, and there's a couple of things that I'm not so keen on. Let's get the things out of the way that I'm not so keen on first, and I won't bore you with the details, but there are a few bits and bobs. The Audi presense, I've already said, I'm not a big fan of that. It's a little bit too overeager to tell me that I'm going to have an accident even when I'm not, and it tugs at the steering wheel, and it feels like you've got a driving instructor next to you that is, you know, tugging on the steering wheel. It literally goes like that. You're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. So I'm not a big fan of that. I wish they made a manual gearbox with it. This gearbox is absolutely spot on though. It is seamless. The changes are superb, and it is a very, very efficient gearbox that makes this car extremely quick, but we'll get to that. The styling. I'm not an enormous fan of the new S3 styling because of some of the vents that don't do much, and some of them that do, and some that don't, and the rear diffuser's fake, and all of that sort of stuff. Again, that is completely subjective. If you like the look of it, then, you know, brilliant. I don't dislike the look of it. I just think the previous model had had nicer curves somehow. And the other one thing that I dislike about it, but I totally understand why it is the case, and it would all be changed with an exhaust, is the noise. It's not what you'd call a visceral, enjoyable noise. It's more of a, I don't know. I don't really know how to describe the noise of it. It's quite stunted. There isn't a lot of it, even in its sportiest dynamic mode or individual mode. When you've got everything dialed up to, you know, to 11, it still is quite quiet and stunted and a bit sort of sewing machiney. Now to the things I do like about it, and the list is a lot longer, don't get me wrong. This car is fast, and I mean fast. Like, for a car that of this sort of price range, in this sort of 40 grand price range, it is amazingly quick. And I think on a B road, A road, getting things done, if you need to get somewhere, rain or shine, snow, wet, any sort of road surface, this car is absolutely mental quick from point to point. It really, really is. The dashboard and everything in here is all very cockpity, fighter jet. They all are in Audis at the moment. The steering wheel basically is exactly the same as the one that you get on an Audi R8, apart from a couple of little switches down here with the start button, etc., etc. These little pod binnacles here, super, super cool. I love that it's focused around the driver. Unfortunately, the car isn't necessarily a massively driver's car. It feels quite grown up to me, like really, really grown up. It's very, very good at everything it does. It's got comfortable seats. It's got loads of room in the rear for passengers. It hasn't got an enormous boot, 370 litres, so you could have a sort of small Shih Tzu in the back or something like that, but you probably couldn't get a Labrador in the boot. I don't know. You probably could, but it'd sort of have to be a contortionist Labrador. They're a very special breed, those. this 2-litre 4-cylinder engine, how they've managed to, it's 310 horsepower, 400 Newton meters of torque. It's so quick. And the 4-wheel drive system seems to work beautifully. You get a little bit of understeer mid-corner if you're really pushing on, but, you can manage that, and you're going so fast at that point anyway, to be able to get to that, you're going to be doing mental speeds. Everything in here, the interior, the new interior, typically Audi, is beautiful. The fit and finish is absolutely bob on, is spectacular. I'm really impressed with it. I love the door handles. I love the way they're really easy to grab hold of. The steering wheel is wonderful the perforated leather on here is wonderful to hold. The brake pedals, they're quite servo assisted, but they're very, very strong, and they're obviously uprated from the normal A3. It is a very, very good car, and if you did buy one, I would be extremely satisfied with everything that it can do. The only thing it lacks a little bit for me is a bit of a sense of humour. The sense of humour is it's not really even there. It feels extremely Germanic and extremely just getting things done as well as possibly can be done, and that is a compliment, but also not a compliment, because I've got a Mini Cooper S GP Works at the moment, and that film will be coming out the week after this one goes out, so make sure you subscribe, ring the bell, all of that kind of stuff so you don't miss it. That car is hilarious because it's got things that are wrong with it which make it sort of worse, that makes it sort of better. Do you understand what I mean by that? It's odd. The foibles of that car give it the character that it feels really good fun. This car, I mean, it's super fast. Put it in sport, there we go, and a bit of manual. Got a clear bit of road here. You do get those noises on the downshifts and the upshifts. Here we go, we come to a standstill. And then what I'm going to do is you press all the gubbins here, stability control off, left foot on the brake, build up the revs. .60. I mean, it is a very, very, very fast car. But as you could probably hear there, it's not very noisy at all. But I think that if you've gone out and bought this car, the husband, the wife, everyone could use it. It's not intimidating. It's not difficult to drive. It is as easy as they come. It has to be said. And to live with on a daily basis, this car is going to be a complete joy to live with. A complete joy to live with. Now, the 4-wheel drive system apparently can send 100% of the power to the rear wheels. I'm not sure that's, I don't know when it does that. It might do it for a split second, but I think it's more likely to be sort of 85%. It's normally, most of the time when you're driving around town, etc., it's just front wheel drive, and then it just sends all the power to the back when you're driving quickly. It works really, really well. It just feels super stable. It feels really, really grown up. Really grown up. And solid. And brilliantly made. The seats are beautiful. They're comfortable. They're quite big, so the passengers in the rear probably can't see much past your shoulders because they're quite, they're big seats. But it is, it's beautifully made. And this, I don't know where the Germans get their leather from or what the cows, that they use are, but it just feels like these seats would stand the test of time for many, many, many years. And you'd buy it in 10 years' time and the seats would just feel just as box fresh as they do now. They're brilliant. Everything in here, it's just, the infotainment system, typically Audi, very, very easy to use. It's all got lovely graphics. This big screen in front of you, very easy to use. All the screens in front of you, all very fighter jet, as I've said. Same as in an RS6, same as an R8. You can get everything, you get the nav, you can do everything on here that you can on here. And that just makes living with it very, very easy. The drive select, I do find a bit odd. So when I first got in this car, I couldn't find the drive select button, and I couldn't find out how to put it in dynamic mode or anything like that, so I had to work it out. I worked it out, but why don't they just have, like in an M product, why don't they just have it on the steering wheel? So all I want is to be driving around normally to get on a good piece of road and then to press that button and it goes into individual mode. That's what I would like it to do, but you can't make it do that, which is really, really strange. I do understand someone that would go and buy one of these because it is extremely capable and it is an Audi product which is beautifully made, and everyone would look at you and go, that's a great car. And it is a great car, and it has everything on it that you'd want. It really does. But I don't know, up to you. Comment down below whether you would go and buy one, whether you have bought one, what spec you've bought one in, because they do some weird different sort of yellows and stuff like that. And this is a really nicely spec one, but I'm not sure about the chrome all over the front grille. Other than that, I do like it. But yeah, comment down below, let us know what you think. See you on the next one. Next week, Mini Cooper S GP Works. Make sure you stay tuned for that one.